Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Combermary people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Christy Kijarina. It's Thursday, October 19. In Squiz Kids Today, scam school for grandparents, a Disney detour, cricketers to the rescue, and some very hot stuff. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Hello, Squizzy! Every Thursday, Squizzy the Newshound pops his head into Squiz Kids HQ to report back on fishy things he's sniffed out on the internet. And this week, his tail is wagging frantically because he's found a new way that you can help to combat scammers on the internet. In my house and at school, whenever I need help with tech, there's usually a clued up 10-year-old that I can ask for advice. So kids, Squizzy and the Australian Federal Police, the AFP, want you to help your grandparents and other oldies in your life to learn their ABCs this Cyber Awareness Month. In this case, that's A, for avoiding clicking on unfamiliar links, B, for blocking calls from suspected scammers, and C, for contacting your bank immediately over any suspicious transactions. The AFP have created a whole heap of 90-second videos specifically about cyber safety for older Australians. The link's in the episode notes. Squizzy hopes that you'll take the time to watch them with your nan and pop so that they too know how to stop, think and check when they come across fishy things happening on the internet. Great work, AFP. And Squizzy, you've done it again.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Disneyland? Wait, this isn't where we're supposed to be. Imagine you're on a train on your way to a pretty boring appointment and you look out the window only to see that you're on Main Street, USA in the heart of Disneyland. Well, that's what happened to hundreds of members of the European Parliament and their staff recently. They were all aboard a train travelling from Brussels, the capital of Belgium, to Strasbourg, a French city that borders Germany, for a planning meeting when, due to a signalling error, they were rerouted to Paris Disney. Unfortunately, the politicians were not allowed to leave the train, even though one parliamentarian lamented that he could see the top of Space Mountain from his window. After a 45-minute delay, they were back on their way. Some people think that Goofy may have made his way onto the train, but that's an unconfirmed report.
Sport time.
How great are mates? It's so important to have friends who've got your back, especially when you're going through tough times. That's why it was so great yesterday when the body that represents Aussie cricketers, the Australian Cricketers Association, or ACA, announced that they would put aside $200,000 to help Aussie netballers who are currently in a dispute with Netball Australia over how they should be paid. You see, Aussie cricketers had the same fight over fair pay back in 2017, so they know what it's like. The netballers want a share of the profits that will naturally increase as the sport becomes more popular, as more people head out to games, watch the coverage on TV or online, and purchase merchandise. The ACA has also put the call out for other sports to chip in, because until the dispute can be resolved, the netballers whose contracts expired at the end of September can't get paid. If you want to support the Aussie women, you can tune in this evening to watch the Diamonds sparkle as they take on New Zealand's Silver Ferns in the third game of the Constellation Cup. Come on, Aussies.
Biggest, furthest, longest.
We've got two very different Guinness World Records to tell you about today. Firstly, to South Carolina in the US of A, where the man who grew the world's hottest chili, the Carolina Reaper, has broken his own world record, creating a chili called Pepper X that is 3 times hotter. The chili has been described as brutally hot, with the heat lasting for hours and causing intense stomach cramping. I can do without that. And finally, meet Bella. She's a 14-year-old house cat residing in Cambridgeshire, England, who has recently been rewarded for her acoustic excellence as the house cat with the loudest purr in the world. Bella's vociferous vocalizations were measured and found to be 54.59 decibels, which is a bit louder than your average dishwasher, but not quite as loud as a vacuum cleaner, which her owner thinks is just perfect.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. Where were the politicians who made the unexpected stop in Disneyland on their way to? Well done if you said to Strasbourg for a planning meeting. Question number 2. Which Aussie sporting code is financially supporting netballers through their pay negotiations? That's right, it's Aussie cricketers. Question number 3. What's the name of the new world's hottest chili? Yep, it's Pepper X.
Shout outs.
It's October 19 and tonight is Water Night. Between 5 and 10 p.m. tonight, all Aussies are encouraged to turn off their taps and think about how precious our water supply is. There's a link in your episode notes if you'd like to find out more. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. George from Yass, Liam from Oak Park, Manreach from Cannon Hill, Izzy from Upper Mount Gravatt, Kieran from Jindabyne, Thomas from Mariba, Sadie from Ford, Jasper from Currumbin, Simba from Forestville, and Isaac from Andrews Farm. A belated birthday shout-out goes to Julian from Kingsgrove. And classroom shout-outs go to Year 3 with Miss M, Miss Black and Mr Jones at Andersons Creek Primary School in Warrandyte. Year 6 with Mrs Trowell at St Patrick's College in Shorncliffe. Year 4 with Miss Lewington at Esperance Primary School. Class 4H with Mr Hauser at Nightcliff Primary School. Years 3 to 6 with Miss Taylor at Jerilderie Public School. Class 5-6M with Ms Mateus at Enfield Public School. And Class 4R with Mr Perez at Haberfield Public School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you want a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow with our Kids versus Adults weekly news squiz and all the weekend shout outs. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.